Hey everybody, this is, sorry, I hope you can hear me. Hey everybody, this is going to be part 2 of what now may be more than a 3-part series. Guys, a lot's been happening today. Trying to get it all together and get it out to you as quick as possible. I apologize. Got one day off from work. Got all the norm stuff to do that we all do, you know, laundry and whatnot. I'm going to make this real quick because I'm limited in the length I can make my videos. I'm working on it. I'm working on a budget here, people. Sorry. First of all, let me give a shout out. Crazy Alice, one of my first 3 subscribers, first commenter. I want to give her props. If she's down when we go live, she's going to be my very first mod. If we ever start charging for any type of members only type stuff, which if I do, I'm telling you guys, it's going to be the minimal fee that YouTube allows me to charge. I don't want to charge anybody to be a member, but we have to, YouTube requires something. So if it's a penny, then that's what we'll do. Just so you know, if there's a way that I can pay it for you or circumnavigate it. For those of you that were my first 30 subscribers, you guys are grandfathered in. You will never pay for a membership to watch any video I produce. And that's because without you, I wouldn't be where I am, and I wouldn't be able to get to monetization. And guys, that's what we're working on because I want to be able to go live. I have some things in the works that I need to be able to live stream for. The ladies that are spearheading the minimum wage for $15 an hour minimum, I'm in contact with them. As soon as I can figure out how we can go live, or I can do a Zoom and record the video and upload it, whatever I have to do, they've agreed to sit with me and give me an exclusive interview with them. It's really important. They're a huge lobbying group. They have a huge base all across the United States, and they're advocating for women and children. Not only is it just the $15 an hour they're advocating for, there's some things for women and children specifically they're advocating for. Working children. We'll see that's upcoming, getting scheduling together, but I do have confirmation. I've got receipts I can upload without a problem. I have texts with their number, their information, and them agreeing to be able to either Skype, Zoom, StreamYard, whatever it has to be. I'm also in talks with an organization that I know is locally based here and does a lot of good work. I'm not sure about how far around the U.S. they are, but they originated here in my town, and it's Options Women's Shelter. Got board of directors. I'm working on getting their victims advocate who does their legal stuff, and a few other people on their board to sit down and do a face-to-face interview. These are some wonderful ladies. I'm telling you now, I will not go live because I will not allow any trolls or disparaging remarks to these women. They give their life inside and outside of business hours to help women and children in dire circumstances, and I will not allow these women to be maligned in any way by anybody. If you're my member and you've been a member since day one, I will block you for saying anything against these women, because all they want to do is help. That's all they do. They offer so many services, and I am emotional because 4 years ago these women saved my life, and I will not allow anybody to do anything to harm them in any way. I'm going to take a break for a second, guys. I'm just emotional. I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. I had to take a moment to compose myself. I got really emotional. I'm going to share that story also with you guys. Not sure if I'm going to do it before or after I do the interview with those ladies, but I am going to share my personal experience and my personal journey 4 years ago and what I went through with you, because it relates to those ladies and the topic at hand. Now, on to summer. The rest from here on out, we're summer. 457 is the mark. From there on out, Summer. Summer, 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 Summer. I've already said her name more than her parents have in any interview. Or probably all combined. I digress. Two little update things. Put a pin in these things that I'm about to say. Number one, some information has come to light about Jose. I need to confirm that it's the correct Jose. I'm going back research. I'm having to research some addresses, getting pictures, and all that. I need to confirm with somebody who Jose is. Hopefully, can trust Allison enough to do that. It seems, based on the name it was given, based on prior residences, that one or other person named Jose, because there's two. There's one that was Dawn's friend. There's one that was Candace's friend. One of the two have an SA background and conviction and registry. I'm not sure if the registry is still current because of the years, and depending on your tier in different states, you're only required to register for a certain amount of time. My state, there is no tier. No matter what SA you're convicted of, it's a 10-year registry, period. The only conviction I found on this individual, if it's the correct one, would be expiring. Or had expired, I believe, in June. Because his offense conviction date was in 2011. But there is a history there. And there is a alleged and accusatory history in other states. And he may or may not be wanted in Texas. If it's the correct one. Put a pin in that one. The other thing, the red truck. We're going to discuss that in video number 3 because I have a little bit of research to do. What I will say, the first time that it was mentioned about the red vehicle being no longer a vehicle of interest was actually by David Dobson. I think it's his name, David Don Dobson, the D. Dobson guy, the flute player, that originally came out and did the interview on Unmask. And he also did an interview with that Fox radio station or TV station that did the Sermon on the Mount video. He did an interview with them. In one of those two interviews, he spoke about that red truck and what Don himself communicated with him. Now, I realize that is a hearsay statement, but it is a hearsay statement that was recorded on video, played nationally, and Don never came out of the woodwork to refute it. Period. Put a pin in that one. I'm going to pull up that interview. I'm going to be able to give a direct quote from Mr. Dobson. The reason that's important is when Chasing Truth showed the flyer that she had been given by Robin Lane, she said Robin Lane is who told her that she was told by law enforcement that the truck was no longer being sought. And I'm paraphrasing on that. Not of interest, something of that nature. And Miss Lane went through every one of those flyers and X'd out the vehicle and put no longer sold or something to that effect. I can't remember the exact words. And I think I wrote it down, but I can't find it in my notes because I'm trying to hurry. This is my 4th recording of this video. Things keep popping up and it keeps interrupting my being able to take the video. Okay. We're getting into summer. A few things here. Number one, we're going to talk about common sense and my opinions, okay? Getting this out of the way, and then we're going to get into facts. Common sense and my opinion. Number one, when we're talking about somebody that lies, and I'm sorry, but if you've spent a minimum of 6 months in a prison facility as a male, you have learned something about lying and manipulation. It's a prerequisite. Anyone that's ever been incarcerated will tell you. Now, that doesn't mean you can't turn your life around and you can't be a good or better person and you can't learn from that and go the opposite. But Don even states about how you get out and it's like a break and you know you can do it again, get a slap on the wrist, go back in, rest up, and get back out. He states this. He talks about that revolving door. Which means he did it more than once, guys. And he survived. And he went back. And he survived. You have to learn coping mechanisms. It's not like being out here at your mall or your local food line So working in a factory and going home, to your wife or alone. It's prison. It's different. It's not as bad as maybe it should be for some. And it's not as good as it should be for others, It is what it is. But it's prison. That being said, when you're telling the truth about a very traumatizing event in your life, the truth don't change. You don't have to and ah and think about what to say. It comes. Think about it yourself personally. Is there any traumatic event you've ever experienced? A car wreck? I don't know. Maybe it was traumatic for you when the planes crashed into the World Trade Center and the Pentagon and all that was going on. It was very traumatic for me. I can remember to this day where I was sitting, what happened, and how it went down. It's like a video reel playing in your mind. And yeah, like Hannah said, it is in slow motion. And I'm not defending Candace on that. I'm not defending her, period, okay? She has a lengthy criminal conviction history as well, okay? Let's get that right, too. But I do think she has some things going on that explain her actions and reactions that Don doesn't have to explain his. Just saying. Also, to that point, my point is that if you read the 48 Laws of Power, you know that it's basically a handbook or a guide for manipulation of any situation that you're in. Hello, ring, ring, ring. Manipulation of any situation you're in. Why do y'all think Don talks so slow? Do you think he really talks that slow and draws like that? He's not originally from Tennessee. He's not from Texas. He's not from South Carolina or North Carolina. We're talking Utah, Arkansas. 13 years in Tennessee, yeah. He's picked up a whole lot of habits and fit right in. Okay. Kudos. And it's not even been his formative years. I mean, from the age he is now, if you take 13 away, Don was at least 40 when he moved here. So, I mean, I can go back to my aunt, who during her formative years lived in Chicago. She got a little bit of an accent, but, after 10 years in Florida and then another 10 years here, she didn't sound like a transplant. She sounded like she belonged here. And things are different in larger cities, Chicago, Illinois, hello, isn't, Wisconsin, that area, isn't that where Candace is from? I'm only making this point because I've seen the behavior panel, and I think Duty Ron at first and some other places that were discounting some things and ways that Don and Candace were acting, basing it on them being born, raised, and living in the rural area of the Appalachians of Tennessee. First of all, let me state to y'all, I'm really, really, really not that far from where they're at. I'm in the Appalachians. I'm in the foothills of North Carolina. I can be downtown Asheville, North Carolina in less than 35 minutes from where I live. And I am in Podunk. You may not even have heard of it ever and live in North Carolina. It's not the only place I've ever lived in my life. I am quite educated. Somewhat more than I wish. I matriculated extra time in college. But being a young mother, it was a way to become more knowledgeable and have more of a background and be able to get a better job for my future and for my children. And that's exactly what my goals were. That being said, before I digress too far, years ago, I don't know about your mama, but my mama and my nanny used to always tell me, you can't hang around this person or that person, even if you're not doing what they're doing, because you are who you hang out with. And I hated that back then. I felt like my parents and my family were judging people and that they should know me better. And I still to a point do. I'm like that. I'm not one of my best friends or somebody that I care about and do for. Maybe somebody that society has given up on, and they're one of the most hated people in the area, and that's cool. I'm not judging someone that way. If I don't care for somebody or don't like them or don't deal with them, it's because of my personal experiences with that person. I will never, and you will never hear me on here judging Don and Candace because of their financial situation or because of the way they chose to dress, talk, act, walk, whatever. Now, when I say something about the way Don talks, the normal person does not talk that slow. But if you're someone that, especially in the middle of the interview process, and I think the guy, Steven, on the interview last night in the interview room, that was as his job to pick apart the statements that Don was making, touched on it in a way, but it wasn't in a way that, I had to explain it. Anyway, long story short here, when you're talking that slow and you pause and you use a lot of and ands and these and you're slowing down your response, it's because that the question that you're answering right now, like maybe you asked me, where was I at 3:30 yesterday? And I'm answering that, but while I'm answering that, in my mind, I'm clicking ahead. What are the next 3 questions that they're going to ask me, and how am I going to respond? I'm going to be prepared and ready with those answers in the direction that you're leading me right now. And I really believe that's what Don's doing. Because as I stated in the last video, Don has more experience working with law enforcement and dealing with them than he's telling and acting badly that he has. You can pull his criminal record and know that. He went through the court system. He had lawyers. He had interviews with police. This man tells us he drove back and forth to Mexico on more than one occasion to run drugs. Hello? Your average drug user does not do that, honey. And listen, I'm not saying I'm out here buying drugs and stuff, but that also goes to another thing that Don was talking about that I think is important to touch on. The quote-unquote high-end abduction theory. Let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about Don's Facebook page. Because you guys know, I'm on Facebook. I'm in some groups that are group discussions about this that involve people that live around Don and Candace. People that very much support Don and Candace. In saying that, let's put on our thinking caps for a minute, guys, because I feel like my viewers are very intelligent. I feel like you guys are not dummies and y'all have got some common sense. And just based on my interaction with you, some of y'all are a lot smarter than me. Don's posting about how easy it is to get back and forth into Mexico, and he would know. He would know. He's going by, maybe based on the past, and he hasn't been there recently, okay? Cool. And he posts about how this high-end abduction and the inferences I'm taking, I don't know about anybody else, is I feel like he was inferring that if his daughter was taken to, for some nefarious purpose to be traded, sold, whatever, by some crazy person or some druggie or dealer or whatever, that they went to Mexico. That's the inference one would get, because he's not talking about, Canada or anything. He's talking about Mexico is the only country he referenced. Personally, just on the minimal time I've had to do some research on sex trafficking and everything, honestly, the United States, China, Russia / Ukraine, those are names that keep popping up repeatedly when you look at sex trafficking of women and children, okay? I didn't see a lot of Mexico. My research may be bad, I may be wrong, but I didn't see a lot of it. So why is he saying that? Does he know something we don't know? Question. Opinion question. That's all I'm saying, guys. Another thing is that this bothers me, but I'm trying to get it in the right order. I apologize. Why, during the discussion with law enforcement, okay, and I've got the notes right down so I can possibly give you as good a quote as I can. Don states to the police, law enforcement that's there, that he thinks that the drug dealers living on his road, that's where him and Chris also got in the thing about the big discussion about the drug corridor and everything. Don makes a comment to law enforcement about wanting to go and question all these drug dealers, okay? Number one, my first question is, you're not using, right? You're not selling. So how do you know who all drug dealers are and what drugs they sell? I get that you may think that you may see somebody having a lot of in and out traffic of all different cars and everything coming to their house at all hours of the night, and you're assuming they're stealing some kind of dope. It's logical. I get that. I'm cool with that. Got you there, Don. But you're the one that told us in the Sermon on the Mount that you didn't know any of your neighbors and you didn't associate with them, and y'all lived there nearly 13 years, and you didn't know these people and you hadn't associated with them. You don't know where they work, what they do, what their names are, who they are, nothing. So, that's like 2 weeks after. So 2 weeks before, you knew well enough to know that they were drug dealers, to know what drugs they were selling, and to be able to go knock on their door and question them. Hello. Does that sound reasonable? I don't know. But Don has previous experience, so he knows better. You can't just go knock on some random person's door and start to calling them a drug dealer and questioning them about taking your daughter. Are you kidding me? Does that make sense? That's why I said let's put on our common sense thinking caps. Don gonna get the shit shot out of him. That's common sense. Stop playing with me, Don. Stop playing with me and my followers. We have a brain, and we're not afraid to use it. And we don't want, that's disrespectful as I'll get out, to just assume that we're just dumb as hell and we're going to believe everything coming out your mouth. Everybody is a suspect but this child herself. Summer is the only innocent in this whole thing. I'm not even an innocent. Summer's the only innocent. And unless you're saying something positive to bring your child home, I'm about tired of you. I'm trying to keep it in until I get to that other part, guys. I'm sorry. Okay. That was another point, though, that just stuck in my brain that bothered me. How do you know who they are? How do you feel comfortable enough that 2 weeks later you said you don't know none of these people? How do you feel comfortable enough going to knock on the local drug dealer's door to ask them questions if you don't even know them? That don't make no daggone sense. Either you're lying one way or the other, so you're a liar. And I still can't believe you. Okay? Let's get that real. All right. Let me see. Another thing, and I'm just going to try to go down my little list I made out here because I've got a book to read. It's the summer book. Be real with y'all. Why did Don drive on down that driveway and go to the bottom where the little shack was near the creek where the boys were? Why? He states that as soon as he drove up there and seen the boys, he knew Summer was gone. Somebody had took her. She was gone. And he knew it. Because Candace hadn't called him back. Okay? So which is it, Don? Had Candace not called you back and told you she's gone? Or were you shocked at the fact that the entire drive that you made in about 30 minutes, I'm such a good person. Bullshit. Didn't we not cover that in one of my other videos, I do believe? I need that notebook and I don't know where I put it. If I'm not mistaken, and I'm going to give Don leeway, 37 minutes was the least amount of time from the meadows where he was working, according to GPS. The most amount of time was 48 minutes, I believe. So you was really speeding. You shaved off 6 to 18 minutes, Don. Power to the people. But which is it? Did you know she was gone because Candace didn't call you back? Or were you shocked because Candace was out riding around searching at what great reception that you had and were able to video chat through Facebook Messenger the entire way with Candace and not drop it till right before you rolled up. 2 and 2 is 4. It will never be 5 and it'll never be 3. And keep that in your mind when you're talking to me. Okay. Next. They went over this in depth last night about the dogs. Everything he says concerning the dogs is just building up to make us believe that they really wasn't there. And I don't know about y'all, but I don't believe for an instant that every one of them daggum dogs was gone that day. They might have been half of them. They might even been 9 of them. There was at least 2 or 3 left. At least 1. And by the way, while we're talking about that, where's Summer's puppy Lucky? Or Yucky, as she called that puppy. Where's the dog, Dawn? Candace? You picked up the cat and stroked it. That was the boy's cat. Like it's the sweetest, most wonderful thing you'd ever held in your life. Where's your missing daughter's dog? I'm sorry. I know everybody's not me, but that dog would probably be royalty in my house right now because that'd be the closest living thing that I had to my missing child. Where's the dog? I asked for a reason. I have a theory, and I ask for a reason. I bet they can't find that dog. If my theory's right, that dog is with Summer. Okay. Another thing. We're going to get on this coworker for as little time as I can that Dawn talked about. I just have a few little points because it's important to the story. But one thing I want to say is, why did Dawn talk more about this damn coworker during that hour and 40 minutes than he talked about his missing daughter? I'll wait. Why did he spend more time talking about dogs and this coworker than he spent about his missing daughter? Do we know what her favorite binky was? Do we know what her favorite color was? Do we know what her favorite outfit to wear was and why? Her stuffed animal that was the favorite? We know she liked Chase on the case. Yay. All children that age do. Newsflash. It's one of the most popular toys out there. Paw Patrol. Are you kidding me? I went through the phase already with my 3-year-old. Now we're on Thomas the freaking Train. I digress. I'm just saying. We see her favorite pair of little dress-up shoes to put on and clank across the floor when she twirled like a princess on Dawn's finger. We're going to get to that part too. Anyway, coworker, suspect. I have some notes on this. Dawn says he got him fired twice. It's important. Not why he got him fired, because that don't matter. I don't believe it anyway. The other thing is, sorry guys, it is just not meant for me to be able to record and upload this video today. Everything in the world is happening to slow my roll on it for some reason, and I'm trying for y'all. Now it's just telling me my battery's about to die, so we're going to plug up while we're recording if I can get the hole. My whole point about this guy, I'm sorry, okay. Now size limit's almost reached, I swear. Okay, let's get this out real quick. Dawn knew this dude for 7 years. He was taking a ride from this guy, or riding with him. The guy parked his car at Dawn's house every day. Dawn got in the vehicle with him and they rode and left his car at his house. That means even after Candace said that he was looking at Summer funny and she didn't like it, that he continued to have that guy there and deal with him. And he also says the guy was a meth user, meth dealer, and other stuff. Okay? That goes back to, you don't associate with people that you're not doing the same thing. Birds of a feather flock together. Alcoholics run with alcoholics. Potheads run with potheads. Meth, same thing. Just like if you're and Sally, I don't know if I said this already, if y'all go and Sally's shoplifting and you're just sitting in the car waiting on her, you can face charges too. You're not going to be running one time, yes, but not on a repeated, consistent basis. This guy had been in Dawn's life for 7 years. whether it was consistently or on and off. 7 years. And if he was so mad at Don for getting him fired the first time, he surely the hell ain't riding with him daily to work and parking at his house. And if they were so worried about how he was looking at their daughter, then you're not going to have him continue to pull up on your property. His car was parked in the video the day that she's dancing in the rain around the for sale barrel. Okay.